Piccolo and Knuckles clash fists. Piccolo goes for a swinging roundhouse kick, with Knuckles swiftly dodging and landing a devastating uppercut to Piccolo's jaw. Piccolo flies back, spins, and launches a special beam cannon right at him. Knuckles summons a wall of chaos energy in front of him to protect against a hit, but the attack drills right through his shield, hitting him dead on in the chest. Knuckles is launched into a nearby mountain, with Piccolo flying up in front of him and feeding him a senzu. The two shake on a good sparring match, with Knuckles asking where he learned that technique. Piccolo tells him he's been practicing for a way to deal with enemies like Shadow again, since he shouldn't have gone out so easily against somebody like that when he's supposed to be the embodiment of chaos. Knuckles thinks it's a really cool technique, but he wouldn't be able to use it himself since he doesn't exactly have any fingers to concentrate it with. The two laugh at the joke and are about to fly back up to Angel Island when they sense something coming right at them. The two get into a fighting position, wondering where the enemies are since they can't see them. Eggman then appears in front of the two, saying it's great to see them again. Wait, that energy they felt was Eggman? That doesn't seem right. Eggman tells the two he's been looking for them, as some of his new friends have a bone to pick with the echidnas and whatever Piccolo is. The two are then jumped by Ginger and Nikki. The two turn to block the attack and nail the two right into the ground. They both fly down to confront them, with Piccolo taking off his weight and clothing, saying that they're not going down that easily. As the warriors are distracted, Eggman has been sneaking around and slowly using his new weapon to siphon away the two's chaos powers. Piccolo and Knuckles have felt like they're getting weaker, and didn't notice until they began to struggle against these weird henchmen. This is when Eggman unleashes the full power of his chaos siphon at the two, and they are hit dead on and begin to scream. The two struggle to break free, with Eggman laughing that he's been trying to design ways to make sure the super form isn't a threat anymore. And since these two are made up of pure chaos energy, this is going to be a perfect test for that. Piccolo and Knuckles attempt to transform into their chaos forms, but are blasted toward the ground by Sancho. Eggman yells at the henchmen, saying that he needed them alive. Garlic Jr. then appears behind Eggman, telling him to watch his tone with his henchmen. With Piccolo dead, then that means Kami is dead too. Put that troublesome guardian out of the way, then they can use the Dragon Balls to take over the world. Eggman snaps back at Garlic Jr., saying that's exactly his point. With Kami dead, then that means the Dragon Balls are gone too. Garlic Jr. thinks for a moment, and then screams out at Sancho, saying that they needed him alive. He better fly down there and find their bodies right this moment. The three henchmen fly down to retrieve the bodies, as, up on Angel Island, Kami feels weakened by something. Tikal asks him what's wrong, as he says Piccolo is in danger, and he has a bad feeling about his energy. The two look over the edge of the island, with the two gasping. Garlic Jr. has returned. Sonic rushes through the Splash Hill Zone, stomping the badniks that he sees, freeing all of the small creatures inside. The animals thank Sonic as they always do, and go on their way. He's been on his own a little bit recently. He's been traveling with Tails and Amy for the past few years, though he needed to be on his own for now. They've been searching for Shadow for so long, and nothing, not even the Dragon Balls, can bring him back. He knows that he's alive out there somewhere, but he swears he's been through every corner of the planet, and he hasn't been able to find any trace of him at all. He'll never give up the fight to find Shadow, but he needs to go out and clear his head with running. Eggman is still out there, trapping woodland creatures and turning them into badniks, like he always does, and it's his job to stop him. They've been playing this game for years now, and it seems it'll never end. He doesn't want to kill Eggman, since he's seen him die once, and that's something he hopes he'll never have to see again, no matter how bad Eggman is. So, he'll just keep cleaning up after his messes and hoping that he'll lay off eventually, like he has been the past few years. A part of Sonic enjoys the thrill of Eggman's threats though. It's always been fun to beat him up and save a bunch of people along the way. That's kinda become his signature thing now. A few obstacles like Chaos Piccolo had broken up the good kind of thrill, but that thankfully worked itself out. And hey, if that didn't happen, then they wouldn't have gotten his much better son, Piccolo Jr., who is a dear friend to him now. He helped raise the little guy into what he became now, and he considers him a brother. He doesn't know what he'd do without the guy now. Almost as if on cue, Sonic is contacted by Kami telepathically. It always scares him whenever Kami does this, but he's gotten used to it throughout the years. He responds asking Kami what the matter is, with Kami telling him it's an emergency. Something's happened to Piccolo and Knuckles, and if it's who he fears it is, then the whole world is in trouble. He needs to get up here now. Sonic understands and tells Kami he'll be right there. Sonic bursts off from Splash Hill, worried for Piccolo and Knuckles, but knows that if Kami is alive, then Piccolo is too, so at least that's something. Sonic rushes into Tails' workshop so they can take the tornado up to Angel Island, though Tails isn't home. He's probably at Goku's house tutoring Gohan again, so he kinda doesn't want to disturb that. He could just take the tornado himself, but he's not the best pilot with it, so he'll go for the easier option. He digs through Tails' junk and pulls out the teleporter Kami gave them to warp into the Sky Sanctuary a lot easier. Sonic hates to use it since it makes him sick, but Kami did say it was an emergency, so he figures now's the time to use it. He hops onto the teleporter and blasts off towards Angel Island. Tails and Gohan high five, as Gohan has just finished his geometry homework for the day and got every question correct. Tails is extremely proud of him, with him saying now they can head back with the others and have dinner. Tails lifts Gohan up into the air as they begin to fly back. Gohan loves being carried by Tails, as it's so much fun to fly. He wishes he could fly someday too, just like him. Tails says if he really tries, then he can do it no problem. His dad knows how to fly, and so does Sonic, but he just chooses not to since he prefers running. The two land at Goku's house with Chi-Chi telling them she's almost done with dinner. Gohan runs over to his Aunt Amy, hugging her and telling her what a good job he did with his math homework. Amy is proud of Gohan too and begins to swing him around on her hammer, with him laughing, enjoying the thrill. Suddenly, Piccolo and Knuckles teleport right in front of them, toppling Amy and Gohan over. Tails runs over to the two of them, and he's worried since they look pretty badly injured. Knuckles is passed out, but Piccolo is still barely conscious. He tells Tails that they were attacked by Eggman and some new goons. They have this new device that siphons away chaos energy, and he drained them pretty bad. He used up the last of his energy to get them out of there. Tails tells them that they're gonna be okay, as he throws out a capsule into the woods as it bursts into a second lab. Him and Amy drag the two in there, as Tails hooks them up to a bed to try and help restore their chaos energy back to normal. Piccolo immediately fell unconscious afterwards, with Tails really poking out on them to check their vitals. He's very concerned on what he's found, as Piccolo was right, their chaos energy levels are dangerously low. It's bad for Knuckles, sure, since he uses a lot of chaos energy, but it's devastating for Piccolo, since most of his body is made up from chaos energy due to him being fused with chaos. He'll live, thankfully, but he's going to be out of commission for quite a bit if they're not able to get the chaos energy back that Eggman stole. Goku rushes into Tails' new lab, saying that he sensed Piccolo and Knuckles and how weak they were. Tails explains what Piccolo told him, and he thinks that Eggman is behind it. Goku is angry that Eggman is still trying to attack them after all this time. Since didn't they save his life on more than one occasion by this point? When is he gonna grow up? Tails asks Goku if he knows where Eggman is, but unfortunately he doesn't. He can try to send his energy to go after him, but Eggman's energy itself is so low that he doesn't know if he can. A voice from behind, though, tells them that they're not gonna need to find him. Everybody turns to see the henchmen, Ginger, Nikki, and Sancho standing in a doorway of Tails' lab. Goku, Tails, and Amy get into their fighting positions, asking them who they are and what they're doing here. Ginger tells them that they're the henchmen of the villainous Garlic Jr., and they're going to need this brat to fulfill his desires. Ginger holds Gohan in his hands, with Gohan crying for Goku to help him. Goku screams out his son's name and goes in to attack them, but Ginger holds Gohan in front of him, saying he better back off now or he'll snap the kid's neck. Goku's rage builds as he regretfully stands down. Nikki laughs, saying this kid's got something really important on his head that they need, so they'll be taking him with them. Ginger sticks his hand out and yells, "Chaos Control," warping the three out of there. The group is shocked. How are they able to use Chaos Control without any of the emeralds? That's when it hits Tails. They must have that Chaos energy that Eggman stole from Knuckles and Piccolo. Somehow, they managed to harness that energy within themselves and use Chaos Control. And that means that this so-called Garlic Jr. and Eggman must be working together. Goku and Amy are surprised that Tails managed to piece things together like that in a 2-second span, but whoever this Garlic Jr. is, his henchmen have taken Gohan, and they need to get him back. Tails says they're going to need all the help they can get in getting him back, especially if these henchmen have Chaos energy, so he's going to radio for Sonic. Goku calls out for the Flying Nimbus, and turns to tell Tails to keep in touch, and that he's going to get the Dragon Radar from Bulma. Thankfully, Gohan had the 4-star Dragon Ball on his head, so they'll be able to find him using the radar. Once he finds him, he'll let the others know where to go. Tails and Amy give Goku a thumbs up as he launches off to get the radar. Sonic is teleported to the Sky Sanctuary, with him collapsing and saying that he hates when he has to do that. Thankfully, he is helped up by Tikal right away, with him thanking her for the help, and that he wishes she could have just Chaos Controlled him there with the Master Emerald, since that would have been a lot more convenient. Tikal apologizes, saying maybe next time. Right now though, they need help in stopping the villainous Garlic Jr. Sonic asks who's Garlic Jr. and if Piccolo and Knuckles are okay. Kami comes from behind Tikal, telling Sonic that the two are alive and are being tended to by Tails, though they were badly injured by Garlic Jr.'s henchmen. Garlic is a name they never thought they'd hear again, and he somehow escaped from the Special Zone and is out wrecking havoc again. Sonic's never heard of this guy before, and is a little lost, so asks him to explain a little bit more. Tikal goes back, telling him the tale of the old echidnas. Back before Kami was Kami, her father, Pachacamac, was the Kami of Earth. He was the one who raised the nameless Namekian and taught him everything he knew about becoming the next Kami. The title of God of Earth, or Kami, is supposed to only belong to an echidna, so of course, other tribes didn't think that was fair, and attempted to take the title themselves. All of these attempts to take the title away from the echidnas always ended in failure, since the main echidna tribe was too powerful for them. However, once it was discovered that Kami had been training up a successor who wasn't an echidna, the other tribes began to riot. Other echidnas, such as the Nocturnes, weren't too thrilled to this, and dismissed the nameless Namekian entirely, while the tribe of Drakons decided to wage an all-out war against the echidnas to gain the title of Kami for themselves. The Drakons were led by the vicious Garlic, who wiped out many of the echidna warriors in hopes of getting his hands on the Master Emerald and becoming Kami. Even the nameless Namekian was helpless to stop Garlic, and all hope seemed lost. That is, until the Kami of the time used the power of the Master Emerald to open a portal to the Special Zone, a zone outside of their own, where Garlic and the Drakons would be lost forever. This incident is what caused the nameless Namekian to try and remove the evil from his heart in the first place, which is what gave birth to the demonic Piccolo. After Piccolo was sealed into the Master Emerald, and Tikal along with him, she was able to see glimpses into the Special Zone where Garlic had died, and all that was left of him was his son, Garlic Jr., who turned the Special Zone into a hellish landscape, renaming it to be the Dead Zone. For a time, Garlic Jr. thought he had found a way out after Kami had transported the Chaos Emeralds into the Dead Zone as well. However, the Emerald's power didn't work in the zone, forcing Garlic Jr. to try other means of escape. Tikal never thought that Jr. would find a way out, though she saw that he had found one. Once, Eggman used the Dragon Balls for the first time to wish the Chaos Emeralds out of the Dead Zone. Shenron's magic, ripping the emeralds out, caused a dimensional tear in the Dead Zone, which Garlic Jr. noticed and tried to harness for himself. She was removed from the Master Emerald and the ability to see into the Dead Zone before she could discover what had happened, but it's safe to assume Garlic Jr. managed to harness the energy of the dimensional tear and was able to open a portal out of the Dead Zone to reclaim the planet for himself and the remaining Drakons. Kami then explains that the Chaos Emeralds have been lost ever since the incident on the Space Colony Ark, thankfully keeping the emeralds from Garlic's hands. However, he has discovered the existence of the Dragon Balls, and will no doubt use them to try and rise to power once more. He's even teamed up with Eggman to find them easier. Sonic understands what the Call and Kami have explained to him, knowing that he needs to go down and put a stop to this Garlic Jr. guy and Eggman before they can conquer the planet together. He tells the gods that he'll put an end to these Drakons and Garlic Jr. himself for them, plus it means he gets to kick Eggman's egg butt once again. Kami and Tikal point out the location of Garlic's castle, with Tikal telling Sonic to make the journey a little easier, she'll use Chaos Control to get him there this time. Sonic thanks her as the two wish him luck. Sonic is Chaos Controlled to the entrance of Garlic Jr.'s castle, where he unfortunately discovers that it's some sort of lost labyrinth type place, similar to that of Labyrinth Zone underneath Kame House, meaning that's a lot of water. Sonic still hasn't grown out of his water hatred, and after all these years, still can't swim, but has gotten fast enough to run on water when need be, so he'll try that to the best of his ability. He zooms through the Lost Labyrinth, crushing all the badniks that he sees, until he is sliced at by Ginger. Sonic is fast enough to dodge his sword and retaliate with a homing attack right into Ginger. Sonic lands into water as Ginger is sent flying into the wall. Sonic revs up a spin dash to burst himself from the water and land on somewhat solid ground, as he watches Ginger rush back at him again. This must be one of the Drakons that Kami and Tikal were talking about, and it's time to put an end to this tribe for good. Sonic and Ginger begin to battle it out, with Ginger telling Sonic that Eggman told them all about him, and that if he or his spiky-haired buddy showed up, then to kill them instantly. Sonic just says he's flattered that Eggman says such nice things about him, and continues to fight. To Sonic, this fight isn't really much of anything. Sure, Ginger is a lot stronger than the average badnik, but he's fought way tougher opponents than this. The only time Ginger is able to get a shot in on Sonic is when the sky suddenly grows dark and Sonic's heart drops. Garlic Jr.'s just summoned Shenron. Near the end of the castle, Garlic Jr. and Eggman stand by Shenron. With all 7 of the Dragon Balls gathered, Eggman showed Garlic Jr. how to summon him, and now they can make their wish. Garlic Jr. tells Eggman that he did a great job in helping him find these Dragon Balls to make his wish. However, his services will no longer be required, and orders the other 2 Drakons to escort him out. Eggman laughs, as he did plan for something like this to happen. He pops open his capsule, releasing the Death Egg Robot Mark II. He jumps inside and points his gun at the 2 Drakons, opening fire and blowing the 2 of them away. He then points the gun at Garlic Jr., saying he's a fool. He was only using him to get the Dragon Balls for himself. With his power, he was able to separate Sonic, Goku, and the others enough so the Dragon Balls could be his. And now, he's going to create Eggman Land and rule this planet. Garlic Jr. laughs, saying that humanity really has evolved backwards ever since his father was sealed into the Dead Zone. Garlic Jr. quickly grabs the gun from Eggman and turns it back on him, making him shoot himself in the face. The Death Egg Robot goes flying back as Garlic Jr. quickly turns to Shenron, making his wish for immortality. Eggman tries to throw himself back towards Garlic to stop the wish, but it's too late, and his wish is granted. A white light surrounds Jr. as he explodes in energy, feeling the immortality coursing through his veins. He knows that he's done it. With his newfound immortality, now he can survive any battle, and he can finally avenge his father, kill Kami, and become the new Kami of this planet. First off though, he raises his hand and uses Chaos Control to stop Eggman in place. Eggman wonders how that can be, until he realizes that Garlic didn't just split up Piccolo and Knuckles' Chaos Energy to the minions, he gave it to himself as well. Right as Garlic is about to end Eggman, Goku arrives, jumping off the flying Nimbus and right next to the 2. Goku looks confused at the two of them, asking what they're doing fighting if they're supposed to be working together. Eggman screams at Goku that they're not working together at all, and to help him defeat this lunatic if he wants his son back. At the mention of Gohan, Goku is immediately on Eggman's side, and turns his attention to Garlic Jr. Once the sky goes bright again, Sonic revs up his spin dash towards Ginger, nailing him right in the gut, and he's pinned to the ground. Sonic demands he tell him what Garlic wished for, with Ginger just laughing, saying that if everything went according to plan, then that means his master is now immortal, and will be able to rule the Earth as the next Kami. Sonic just laughs at this. Immortality? Who would ever want to be immortal? He's all about living free and living life to the fullest, but he knows an eternity of that would get boring after a while. Death is just the next part of the adventure, and of course, this demon wouldn't know something like that. It's time he put a stop to him before he causes any more harm. Ginger is knocked out by Sonic, with him rushing out of the Lost Labyrinth and meeting up with Goku and Eggman. Goku smiles as he sees Sonic. He quickly tells him that these guys kidnapped Gohan and he's somewhere in the castle. Sonic was prepared to wipe the floor with Garlic himself, but his mood immediately changes once he finds out Gohan is involved. That kid means so much to him. Heck, he's his uncle for crying out loud, and this guy has the gall to try and take over the world and take his nephew from him? Now he's gonna do much more than wipe the floor with him. Sonic homing attacks right into Junior as he tells Goku he's got it and to go after Gohan. Goku gives him a thumbs up as thanks as he rushes into the castle. Garlic rises back up as Sonic tries to go in for more attacks. The Hedgehog is way too fast for Garlic to keep up with, and he's brutally beaten around. Though, to Sonic's surprise, none of the damage he inflicts on Garlic seems to be sticking. Almost as fast as the damage is dealt, it's healed up again. Garlic takes Sonic's confusion as an opportunity to fire a Chaos Spear directly towards him. Sonic dodges out of the way, with his anger reawakened, as he realizes that this guy also stole Piccolo and Knuckles' powers for himself. Sonic rushes back in to continue the fight against Garlic, with Sonic being able to dodge out of the way of all of Garlic's energy attacks. Garlic is confused on how Sonic could know all of his attacks, and that a mortal hedgehog shouldn't be this powerful. Sonic laughs at Garlic, saying he's trained with the real Kami for years, and chaos energy like this is nothing to him. If he thinks he can take the title of Kami by having to steal Piccolo's chaos powers and use Kami's Dragon Ball's wish for immortality, then it's pretty clear on who's the better guardian of this planet. He should just get out of here while he still has the chance. Garlic is seething in anger. This hedgehog has crossed a line. He uses Chaos Control to throw Sonic into the wall, saying he knows nothing. He's immortal now, and he'll take over this entire planet no matter what. Just their chaos techniques aren't all he stole from Piccolo and that cursed Echidna. He took their transformations as well. That last bit he didn't expect to hear, and Sonic watches as Garlic screams out and erupts into his own chaos form. Chaos Garlic rushes towards Sonic, with him barely dodging the first blow. Garlic catches up quickly, almost hitting him again, and narrowly misses it. It seems Garlic's going to land a devastating blow until Goku appears in front of Sonic to block the hit for him. Goku grunts in pain over the force of the attack, though with him taking the blow, Sonic is able to run up his back and homing attack right into Chaos Garlic's face, making him stumble back, and have Goku manage to launch a Kamehameha right in his face, blowing him high up in the air. Goku and Sonic give each other a thumbs up, saying that he should be taken care of now. Sonic asks Goku what about Gohan, with them saying that Tails showed up too, and was able to take Gohan away to safety before anything else happened to him. Sonic says that's a relief, and that it seems Eggman pieced out too before they could really lay the smackdown on him. As the two are laughing, Goku notices Ginger lunging at Sonic from behind, and quickly pushes him out of the way and punches a hole right through his chest. Ginger spits out blood, looking up at Goku and saying it's never over. His master is immortal, and the blood of the Draken tribe will never truly die. Ginger collapses dead, as Goku wonders what the hell that meant. Suddenly, Garlic Jr. chaos controls right in front of the two, glaring at them with absolute hatred. These two, they're supposed to be Kami's disciples, ones who will take over for him once he's too old for the part. That title was supposed to belong to his father, and then to him. He's going to destroy these guys for good, and become Kami himself no matter what. Chaos Garlic explodes in energy, summoning the Dead Zone all around the castle, with matter around them being lifted into the air and swirling all around them. The land around them begins to shape around into the special stage of old, with blue spears flowing all around them, and so many magical glowing rings. Sonic and Goku look around confused as they see the landscape change. He's trying to warp this reality into the dead zone as well. Well, the two disciples of the true Kami aren't going to let that happen. The two get into their fighting stances and rush towards Chaos Garlic.
You're gonna pay for this! Something tells me I'm not going to want to hold anything back for this one. The world is mine! Let's go! Okay, let's do this! You won! Suffer! Die! Witness my full power! Good look, I'm a hedgehog, not a cat. I'm stronger this time. Let's finish it! It will absorb everything! Dead zone! You! What are you? What is this?
Oh man, I could have done better.
Goku wakes up, dazed and not really remembering what happened. Sonic is standing over him, telling him that they won. Garlic was stupid enough to open the full power of the dead zone, and he's now trapped there once again. The only thing he was weirded out by was that power Goku showed off. It seemed like he was transforming into a super form, but it was like a pseudo super form. False, one might say. Goku looks at himself and says that he felt that way too. He had a connection with the Chaos Emeralds for the time they had them on Angel Island. So, maybe, in a way, their energy is still inside him, and he was able to draw a little bit out to use. This is when he suddenly remembers that Garlic still had Piccolo and Knuckles' Chaos Energy. If he's in the dead zone right now, they can't get it back. Sonic just tells him to calm down, as he got that covered. Right after Tails gave him a Senzu Bean, he also gave him the Chaos Siphon he designed as well, something that can take the Chaos Energy back. So, he light sped dashed in there, and with a powerful kick, siphoned out the Chaos Energy back. And now, they can bring back their friends. Gohan yells out for his dad, with Tails carrying him out of the rubble of the castle. Goku catches Gohan, giving him a big hug, saying he's really happy that he's okay. Gohan hugs him back, saying his dad's the best, so he knew he'd save him. After they get their bearings, the group all head back to Tails' second workshop and give the energy back to Piccolo and Knuckles, which boosts their energy back to normal, and they sit up ready to fight. After Sonic explains everything that happened, they both want revenge against Eggman, since he's the one who sapped away all their energy to begin with. Sonic walks outside, knowing that'll be tough since Eggman has definitely just disappeared again to come up with a new plot to destroy them all. But he doesn't care. Sure, he almost died today in the battle against Garlic, but Goku, Tails, and everybody had his back. If he's around his friends, then he knows that they can't fail, no matter what Eggman throws at them. Eggman flies back to the Scrap Brain Zone, one of his first bases of operation, and a place that Blasted Hedgehog probably won't look for him. He curses that his plans were foiled yet again, and this time it wasn't even by the Hedgehog, it was by that blasted Garlic Jr. No matter what he does, his plans always end in failure. He once again questions what he should do. He thinks back to his cousin Maria once more, thinking about what she would have wanted, and tries to push the thought out of his head. No, he's come too far to back down now. There has to be something he can do. But right now, he just wants to recover from the day's events. He sits back in his chair, checking his egg mail, when he sees one from a fellow scientist. Except, this scientist has been dead for years. How would he have just egg-mailed him now? He opens it up, reading the full thing, and laughing maniacally. This is it. It seems that Dr. Wheelo has just the tools he needs to finally conquer this planet. Sonic, Amy, and Tails run through Sunset Hill Zone, eager to meet up with the others. It's been quite some time since they've met up with everybody, as they've all been so busy when it comes to finding Shadow's whereabouts. It's been quite a few years and they haven't been able to find any trace of him at all. They're hoping that'll change one day, but for now, they're just gonna find time to relax. Sonic, Tails, and Amy have grown together searching for Shadow, and while Amy has really tried her hardest to hook up with Sonic, he has no interest in her whatsoever, and to this day is still doing his best to let her know he's not interested. Amy isn't as love-struck as she used to be, but still isn't gonna lose hope on something happening in the future. But reignited Amy's sweet passion for Sonic is actually waiting for them with the others. Once the group eventually meet up at Kame House, they get to see Goku and the others. More specifically for Amy, she's here to see Goku's child, Gohan. Gohan jumps out of his father's arms and into Amy's, really happy to see her again. Sonic and Tails rustle Gohan's hair, happy to see him again as well. Gohan says that he really missed his Auntie Amy and wished she would be able to come and visit him more. She laughs, telling Gohan that she's been busy with his Uncle Sonic and Tails, as they're still going off and trying to find a long-lost friend of theirs. Gohan's heard this one before, so he's not all that surprised. Gohan is the son of Goku and Chi-Chi, and once he was born, the two made sure to invite everybody over to meet him, and he was a huge shock to everybody, especially Sonic, as after seeing Gohan, he realized how old that they're getting. Goku has a kid now, for crying out loud. As cool as it is being an uncle to Gohan, he wants to stay as far away from parenthood as humanly possible for the time being. It definitely seems like a lot of responsibility for Goku, as he can't go out to train as much anymore, since he's so busy taking care of his new son. Chi-Chi still isn't going to allow Gohan to train, and Goku can't even sneak him off to train with Sonic either, as if Amy's around, she's not going to let them train the kid. Gohan has never really minded all that much though, as he's not really into fighting anyways. He's enjoyed hearing about the adventures that his father and Sonic have been on, especially the ones about Dr. Eggman, though he's never really wanted to go himself. They seem too dangerous for him, and he'd rather just study to be a great scholar, so of course he gets along great with Tails. Him and Tails have had some discussions about science and inventions, which has always fascinated Gohan. Tails is happy to be able to train Gohan in sciences and all that, since he's one of the brightest minds on the planet. They all don't get to come over all the time, but enough that they've impacted Gohan's growth and development. He's not really skittish and nervous around people as he was in canon, as Tails taught him to embrace his nerdier side, and Sonic taught him it's okay to be weird. Gohan is definitely a much more social person than he is in canon. He's also been brought up to Angel Island to meet with the others up there. He's gotten along really good with Kami and Tikal, and while he was a little scared of Piccolo at first, Piccolo showed off how affectionate he is, and now Gohan has great times with Uncle Piccolo as well. So yeah, Gohan definitely has a lot more family than he did in canon. Today, the group decided to meet up at Kame House for a cookout, and while a bunch of people couldn't come, thankfully, Goku, Gohan, Sonic Tails Amy, Krillin, and Bulma managed to make it. Krillin has gotten really good at cooking for everybody, so Goku can inhale a gigantic bowl of ramen, while Sonic inhales almost every chili dog in sight. It's a very fun day, though, as I'm sure you can tell, that's all about to change. Suddenly, Goku stands up and looks into the sky. The others ask him what the matter is, with him saying he senses a pretty big energy coming right towards them, something that feels very evil. He tells Amy to bring Gohan inside, but it's too late, as the energy Goku sensed has landed right in front of them. Raditz has arrived. Raditz says that it's very good to see that Kakarot is alive and well, but demands to know why the hell he wasn't able to complete his mission. Goku is pretty confused. Kakarot? Mission? What the hell is this guy talking about? Raditz is extremely irritated how Kakarot doesn't know what he's talking about. He yells out that it's their mission, the reason that the Saiyans exist, for battle. The yelling begins to scare Gohan, so Krillin walks up to get him to leave. They don't want any drunks coming up here and scaring kids. Raditz then whips Krillin across the face with his tail, sending him flying. Sonic rushes over to catch him before he crashes into Kame House, thankfully, but everybody is terrified to see that Raditz has a tail just like Goku. Raditz asks Goku if he really doesn't remember anything, with Goku revealing that he bumped his head as a kid, so he doesn't remember anything from his early years. This infuriates Raditz, so he begins to ramble on about Goku's heritage. His real name is Kakarot, and he is a Saiyan from the planet Vegeta. He was sent away to destroy this planet, and add another planet to their empire. Unfortunately, the Saiyan homeworld is destroyed by the Black Comet of the Black Arms, so he is one of the only Saiyans left alive. He's here now since him and the other two surviving Saiyans will need help in their war against the Black Arms, so it's a good thing he remembered his brother. This was a lot of info to dump on Goku. He's apparently an alien who has a brother? He can't believe it. Raditz can't believe he forgot his mission to destroy this planet, and says that he'll let it slide if he decides to kill everybody here. Goku yells at him that there's no way he'd kill his friends. He doesn't care if he is an alien and this guy is his brother. The people here are more family to him than he'll ever be, so they get the hell off of his planet. Raditz is infuriated that Kakarot would speak to him in this way, and decides that his brother needs a little bit of motivation. Raditz begins to make his way over to Gohan, attempting to kidnap him, but he's then nailed right in the gut by a spin-dashing Sonic. Raditz fumbles back in pain, as he is then kicked in the side of the head by Goku, falling right into the ocean. He flies back out in rage, with Goku saying he's not going to be laying a hand on his son, and if he wants to take him, he's got to go through them. Raditz isn't going to be bullied by his little brother, so he fires a beam right at the island. Goku is able to catch it, and then throw it right into the air. Roshi yells at them to take it off the island since he doesn't want his house being destroyed. So, Sonic dashes into Raditz once again, saying he's going to be dealing with him now. Thankfully, with Sonic's taunts, he's able to annoy Raditz enough so he can follow him off the island. Goku and Sonic bully Raditz all the way over to a nearby island, where they continue to dunk on him some more. Raditz can't believe that he is getting outclassed by his younger brother and some furry. What kind of training did I get on this planet? He tries to read their power levels and finds out that they are well into the 3000s, which is quite a few thousands above his level. He can kind of understand how his brother could get that strong, but this blue furry looking thing? How the hell could it have gotten more powerful than he is? Raditz is able to back off from his beatdown and stare the two down. Goku asks if he's had enough yet, and if he's ready to get off of the planet. Raditz says he hasn't even shown off what he can do yet, and they're going to pay for humiliating him. Raditz reaches into his pocket to pull out a Saiyan vial. He crushes it in his hand and explodes in energy.
Laser!
Raditz bursts out at super speed, nailing Sonic right in the gut and sending him flying away. Raditz then launches towards Goku, rushing all around him and delivering strikes at amazing speeds that he is unable to block. Goku is sent right into the ground as Raditz reverts back to normal. Goku sits up groggy, asking, "What was that?" Raditz laughs, saying, "They're not so cocky anymore, are they?" That was called a Wisp form. Through the Saiyans' invasions on other planets, they conquered the planet Wisp and extracted the inhabitants' Hyper Gohan energy to use as their own, and get a ridiculous increase in power. Goku is disgusted that they basically took over an entire race and used their powers as their own. He's not going to let them get away with that. He goes to attack Raditz once again, though Raditz activates the Spike Wisp power to block Goku's punch. Spikes shoot out of Raditz's body, impaling Goku's hand. Raditz kicks his brother away as Sonic rushes back in to attack. though he's not used to dealing with somebody with spikes like him, and Raditz's hurt a lot more. Raditz shoots a double Sunday spike ball at Sonic, which he's thankfully able to dodge. He is still faster than Raditz and can dodge his attacks, though once Raditz transforms back into his laser form, he's able to easily catch back up with Sonic, disorient him, and go back into his spike form to hit him extremely hard. These Wisp forms give Raditz an insane amount of power, one that both of them haven't dealt with before. Tails, Amy, and Krillin have arrived on the scene to try and help, and are horrified to see what kind of power that Raditz has. Raditz notices them coming, and throws multiple spike balls to get them to back off. The three dodge until he catches back up with his laser form to knock them each into each other as well. With his spike form, Tails and Krillin can barely touch him without hurting themselves, and the only hope they kinda have is Amy's hammer, though she's too weak to do any damage with it. Unfortunately, they weren't able to be much of a help, and are knocked unconscious pretty fast. Though they're able to distract Raditz long enough for Sonic to charge up his Lightspeed Dash, and once he's finally ready, he's able to go at Raditz with all he has. With the Lightspeed Dash, he's able to even catch up with Raditz's laser form, and the two are able to butt heads and clash all around the island. Even with this insane speed boost from Sonic, it isn't enough to match the power multiplier that Raditz has from the Wisps. Eventually, he's knocked out of the Lightspeed Dash and falls to the ground pretty injured. He curses that they don't have the Chaos Emeralds anymore, as he knows if he was able to turn into Super Sonic, then he would have been able to wipe the floor with this guy easily. He wouldn't be able to use his Chaos Sonic form either, as he doesn't know if he can tap into Chaos Energy like Knuckles or Piccolo can by himself without any help from any Master Emerald or Chaos Emerald. Goku is still in this fight though, and tries his hardest to get Raditz away from his friends. He isn't a match for Raditz's spike form at all, and fares terribly against it just like everybody else. Eventually, Raditz stands before Goku, telling him he's a failure towards the entire Saiyan race. He doesn't care if he's his brother. He's going to end his life and his friends' lives right here and now. Raditz begins to push a spike ball right into Goku's chest, with him yelling out in pain. Raditz laughs, as Goku finally has enough. He explodes in energy, pushing Raditz right off of him. Raditz flies back, wondering what the hell is this. He transforms into his laser form to rush right back in, though he is punched away and back to normal. He sits up confused. What the hell is happening? Goku is flowing in power. He is getting angrier by the second, with his hair rising up and beginning to flow. He tells Raditz that he's not going to hurt his friends or his son, and that he's going to make him pay for the damage he's caused here today. Goku lets out a giant roar as he transforms. Raditz looks on in fear as he realizes what this is. This kind of energy. It's like Kakarot is transforming into a great ape, but without actually transforming? What is this? Goku opens his eyes, revealing their new yellow color. Goku has allowed himself to unleash the power of the Great Ape without a full moon, and without becoming a Great Ape itself. He has allowed himself to achieve the Akari transformation. Akari Goku rushes Raditz as he transforms back into his spike form. Goku and Raditz clash, with Goku powering through the spikes all around his brother, breaking them with his fists alone. Raditz yells out in pain as he fires multiple spike balls at his brother to get him to back off. Goku unleashes a mouth beam to destroy all of them coming at him. Raditz realizes that with the power of the Akari form, he is screwed, so transforms into laser form to get away, though Sonic manages to successfully speed up in front of him and spin dashes him back towards Goku. Goku then pours all of his energy into a Kamehameha, firing it straight at Raditz. Raditz tries to fire his double Spike Day surprise at it to stop the beam in its tracks, but an Akari Kamehameha is way too powerful for his attack to handle, so it blasts right through it and goes right through Raditz's chest. Raditz falls out of his wisp form and collapses to the ground. Goku lands in front of his brother, telling him he didn't want it to come to this, but he's left him no choice. He's not going to let anybody else kill his friends. Raditz coughs up blood, saying that it's not the end yet. His scouter has been transmitting the entire time, and he believes that in 1 year's time, his partners, Vegeta and Nappa, will come to this planet to get revenge, and they are light years more powerful than he is. Goku flinches after hearing this, as Saiyans even stronger than him? If they can be that powerful and have wisp powers like him, that could be a lot of trouble. Raditz laughs, saying that they're done for, as he coughs up blood once again, and dies. Goku reverts back into his normal form, and helps the others back on their feet. Sonic overheard Raditz about the other Saiyans coming, and had to explain what he said to the others. They only managed to win because of Goku's new Akari form. But who knows if even that is going to be enough for these other two Saiyans. They need to find the Chaos Emeralds now, as those are pretty much their only hope if they want to survive. Goku and Sonic head up to the lookout to explain what happened to Kami and Tikal. Piccolo and Knuckles are infuriated that they weren't there to put a stop to this guy, but swear that they'll be able to put an end to the other Saiyans when they come in a year. Kami says that with their Chaos forms, they may be able to, but they don't know much about the Wisp energy that Raditz used, or if there are other abilities the Wisps can give besides Laser and Spike. If these other two Saiyans have even greater forms than that, then they're all going to be in trouble. They need more ways of getting stronger. The Master Emerald could help, but that needs to stay on Angel Island, and is too risky to rely on if the Saiyans can take it for themselves. He thinks there is another way though. Up in the other world, there is a god who may be able to train them in another power. One that could be enough to defeat the Saiyans. Goku and Sonic should go, as they don't have any Chaos Energy to use as their own, so they'd benefit the most from this. As for the others, he'll train them up here for the year, in hopes of getting them even stronger. The group thinks that's a good idea, and while Goku and Sonic are nervous about going to the afterlife of all places, training to get new powers sounds great. Goku also asks if his son can come up here to train too, since he can tell he has a lot of potential, and with somebody like Piccolo or Tikal helping him out, he should be able to unleash it. Plus if Chi-Chi's up here or Amy, then he would be fine. Kami and Tikal say that they definitely allow that. They can see the potential in Gohan as well, and they're gonna need as many fighters as they can get. The group are able to gather up all the fighters they can to come up to Kami's lookout, and they all say goodbye to Goku and Sonic as Kami teleports them into the other world. The two are able to get the confirmation from King Yama to go and train. So, with that, Goku and Sonic burst off at supersonic speeds down Snake Way to go and train with King Kai. Sonic and Goku make their way down Snake Way in record time. King Yama told the two that it would take around 6 months to get down to King Kai, though since Sonic is the fastest thing alive, they're able to make it down in only a few days. Goku wasn't as fast in getting down there, but Sonic just carried him the rest of the way because of how slow he was going. Goku is able to fly the two up to meet King Kai, the god of the Northern Galaxy. Of course, the gravity here is pretty heavy for them, but they're able to maintain their footing after all the training that they did in the hyperbolic time chamber. They inform King Kai of the upcoming Saiyan invasion, and how they need to train up here to be able to defeat them. King Kai is open to training the two, as he's seen what these Saiyans can do and how they're bad news. Of course, the two need to tell him a joke first, which comes super easily for Sonic, but it takes a little longer for Goku to make one up. Once they're able to train under King Kai, Goku asks more about the Saiyan race, since he's still trying to get a grasp on the fact that he's an alien. King Kai tells Goku about the warrior race, and how they're all pretty evil people, who kind of deserved what they got when Black Doom destroyed their planet. In fact, Goku is the only pure-hearted Saiyan he's ever met. Sonic is concerned about this Black Doom, as what if he comes to destroy their planet as well? King Kai says that Black Doom is one of the strongest beings in the galaxy, one they should try to avoid at all cost. In fact, around 5 years ago, he started to go on more of a rampage throughout the galaxy faster than before, even becoming more of a fearsome menace than the Frieza Force. They would be lucky if he never came by, but if he did, then there pretty much wouldn't be anything that they can do. Hopefully with his training, they can have more of a fighting chance though. This doesn't make the two feel any better, as on top of the Saiyans, they might have to deal with this Black Doom guy. Hopefully, they can save him for later. They also ask about the Wisps that Raditz had with him, and what their deal is. King Kai explains that these Wisps were all killed by the Frieza Empire and extracted of their energies years ago. There are a few that are still alive, but they are constantly drained of their energies and used by the remaining Saiyans and some Frieza soldiers. They all live very terrible lives in the hands of the Frieza Empire right now, and all of their abilities are extremely dangerous. They tell him about Raditz's laser form and spike form, which King Kai says are pretty bad ones. But there are some that are even more deadly, which are pretty much only used by the elite warriors. Unfortunately, it seems that Vegeta, one of the Saiyans coming to Earth, has these kind of Wisps. It's a good thing they're up here to learn more powerful techniques, as without these, they're pretty much screwed. Now, it's time for them to really learn his two signature moves, the Kaioken and the Spirit Bomb. Sonic and Goku get ready and train super hard together to get these moves and stop the Saiyan invasion. Back on Earth, the Chaos Z fighters begin their preparations for the Saiyans invading as well. Bulma managed to head over to the King's Castle to warn King Acorn and Sally of the upcoming threat. Hopefully, they can rally their forces to show up when the Saiyans do, as they're all gonna need all the help that they can get. Sally says that she doesn't want to waste innocent lives with the military getting involved, as if these Saiyans are stronger than what King Piccolo was, they would just be sending in these men to die. She'll allow some of their strongest men to come in and help though, mainly the Chaotix. The Chaotix were able to slow down King Piccolo very slightly, and have gotten more powerful and skilled since their defeat, since they don't want something like that to happen all the time. With their help, they may be able to slow down the Saiyans enough and get many civilians out of harm's way. She wishes she could send in more to help, but this is all she can do to save innocent lives. Bulma thanks them for the help anyways, and then goes over to the gun headquarters to ask for their help as well. Bulma meets with the gun commander and Rouge the Bat, asking for the military power and preparing for these Saiyans. Rouge is kinda skeptical on the existence of these aliens, but the gun commander says he's actually had a run-in with some aliens once, and if these Saiyans are anything like the aliens he saw in his youth, then they're gonna have one hell of a battle. He agrees to send out his forces whenever they arrive in a year's time, and try and defeat them. Bulma thanks them both for their help and understanding, and sends the message up to the fighters on Angel Island to inform them of who can help down below. Yamcha thanks her for sending the messages out, so now the group can continue their training, and be happy that they're not completely alone. The group is all training with Kami and Tikal, and while the hyperbolic time chamber is an option for them, the ones who already went inside are extremely hesitant to enter again, since that was such a miserable experience last time. Kami isn't forcing them to go inside at all, since he knows how hard that room is on people, and allows them to just train with him and Tikal. Yamcha, Tien, Tails, Amy, and Krillin all get their training from Kami and Tikal especially, since they've never trained with him before, and their styles seem to work out with Goku and Sonic, so they make sure to deeply listen to everything the two have to say. Piccolo and Knuckles are training up Gohan, hoping to get him powerful enough to stay in a fight. They don't really want him to join a battlefield against the Saiyans, since this might be extremely dangerous, but just in case something happens, they'd like this kid to be able to defend himself. Gohan tries his hardest under the tough training of Piccolo and Knuckles, and his mom wasn't too happy that he was coming up here, but Amy was able to reassure her that she would be there, so everything would be fine. Though Amy is never really around when he's being trained by these two, so she doesn't get to see how hard he has it. Luckily, Piccolo and Knuckles aren't evil people, so they don't throw Gohan down to the dinosaurs to go and fend for himself. He just has to deal with the Piccolo and Knuckles training regimen, which is quite a lot for a 5-year-old kid. He gets the hang of it though, since he is Goku's kid after all, and since they know that Goku is an alien now, Gohan is part Saiyan too, so he should have all the potential as his father in that aspect. Gohan is thrown into a block of ice. He slowly tries to recover himself as he watches Knuckles barreling towards him. Gohan is able to quickly dodge out of the way, with Knuckles slamming right into the ice. Gohan spirals back and launches a Masenko right towards the Echidna, with Knuckles Chaos controlling out of the way and appearing behind him to slam him into the ground. This time, Gohan is down for the count. Knuckles lands next to the kid and pats him on the head, saying he did a pretty good job this time. He managed to last a full 5 minutes. Gohan weakly stands up, saying he's sorry that he's not as strong as him and Mr. Piccolo want him to be. Knuckles smacks him upside the head, saying that's not true, the kid's a prodigy. He's only 5 years old, and already he's stronger than he was at his age, and he was raised by Kami. In no time at all, he knows that he'll be strong enough to take on those Saiyans that are on the way to Earth, and upstage his own dad. Gohan laughs at this, thanking Knuckles for the support. He misses his dad a lot, and he's never been without him for so long. Him and Uncle Sonic have been off training on King Kai's planet for almost a whole year now, and he hopes that they're okay. He's been pretty worried about these Saiyans that are coming to Earth as the year is almost up, which means that they're gonna show up any day now. Hopefully, his dad and Uncle Sonic get a lot more powerful to defeat them, so he doesn't have to fight since he's pretty scared to. Knuckles tells Gohan that he thinks that's enough for the day, and they should head back to Angel Island now. The two go to fly off when they notice that the sky has suddenly gone dark. Knuckles looks around in concern. He knows what that means. They then see a large flash of light behind them, and the outline of the Eternal Dragon, Shenron. Knuckles is extremely worried now. Who's using the Dragon Balls? They're making sure not to use them in case something bad happens when the Saiyans showed up. If this person makes a wish, then they're going to have to wait a whole year. He tells Gohan to stay here as he blasts off towards the dragon. At Shenron's location, Dr. Eggman and Dr. Cochin stare up in awe at the dragon. Eggman's been here before, and things didn't turn out so great last time, but now, no huge monkeys are going to stop him from fulfilling his wish. Him and Dr. Cochin wish for the Chaos Emeralds to be brought back, with Shenron telling the two that that wish cannot be granted. Eggman is infuriated, and says that he's the powerful dragon god who literally ripped them out of the special zone before. How can the wish not be granted? Shenron explains that he's told this before to the ones called Sonic, Tails, and Amy. The Chaos Emeralds cannot be brought back, as they're in possession of the ultimate life form, and his power is too great, so the emeralds cannot be taken from him. Eggman is stunned at the mention of the ultimate life form. No, he saw him die. Shadow can't be. Dr. Cochin interrupts, asking Shenron to melt the ice around the lab to free Dr. Wheelo. Shenron says that wish is much easier, and it is granted. Eggman calls Cochin an idiot for making Shenron do such a simple wish, but before the two can get into a fight, the ice all around them begins to melt, with Eggman and Cochin hopping into his Eggmobile so they can fly away and not get crushed. The ice melts all around them, freeing Dr. Wheelo's lab. Cochin tells Eggman that even without the Chaos Emeralds, Dr. Wheelo's genius is all they need to take over this planet. Eggman doubts that, as his genius can't do it alone, but hopefully with all three of their minds combined, they can finally take out that hedgehog for good. As they go to fly into the lab, Knuckles appears, yelling out for Eggman that he's got a vendetta against him. He still hasn't forgiven him for sapping most of his chaos energy during the whole Garlic Jr. incident. Eggman's ship transforms into the Death Egg robot, with him and Knuckles clashing fists. The two battle it out, as Cochin sends out his mini Bio Warriors to distract Knuckles. Knuckles fights off Eggman and the Bio Warriors all at once, and while Eggman is tough in his mech, he can take out the Bio Warriors pretty easily. This enrages Cochin, with him going to resort to more drastic measures. He's calling in his other Bio Warriors. Cochin ejects himself from the Death Egg robot and rushes in towards the lab, where he is stopped in his tracks by Piccolo. Eggman curses seeing Piccolo here, as that kind of foils their plans for now. Piccolo slaps Cochin aside easily and flies up to join Knuckles. He says that he's not happy his Chaos Energy was taken away either, and he's going to show him his full power right from the get-go. They have bigger threats to worry about than him. Piccolo powers up and transforms himself into Chaos Piccolo, and with one flick, the Death Egg robot is destroyed, and Eggman collapses to the ground. He tries to run away, but Piccolo grabs him by the shirt collar, saying, "Not so fast." Eggman struggles to get away when he notices a strange glow behind Knuckles. Suddenly, the glow erupts into a beam right from under Knuckles, with the gigantic blast coming out and rocking him. Knuckles screams out in pain and is blasted away. Piccolo drops Eggman and goes after Knuckles, with him being swatted away by the three Bio Warriors Cochin called for. Piccolo powers up again, ready to take these guys on, when he hears a voice from the hole in the ground where the blast came from. The voice says that he knows who he is. He is Chaos Piccolo, the water demon. He must be the world's strongest. The voice chants out an ancient Chao chant that Piccolo has never heard before. For some reason, the chant has frozen him. He tries to move, but the chant has him paralyzed. He begins to scream out, clutching his head, and his watery form begins to mutate him. Piccolo loses his form and morphs into Chaos. The voice from below laughs, and now they have the world's strongest under their belt, and with him, it's time to conquer the planet. Gohan flies off back to the others at Angel Island, with them asking Gohan if he's okay and what exactly happened down there. Gohan says he's not sure, just that somebody used the Dragon Balls and that Knuckles went to find out who took them, but he never came back. Concerned, Krillin says that Piccolo went off to investigate as well, and he hasn't come back either. Gohan begins to freak out a bit now, but Tien tells him that it's Piccolo and Knuckles. Nothing could have taken them down so easily. Plus, Kami is still standing right here after all, and if he's still alive, then Piccolo is too. Kami says that it's true, Piccolo is indeed alive, but that there's something different about him now. He can sense it. They're still bonded together, but Piccolo has changed somehow. He's not entirely sure, but it's something that they need to stop. This is a test for the group before the Saiyans arrive. Goku and Sonic aren't on the planet to save the day this time, so it's up to them to save the Earth and investigate what happened. The group all bow to Kami and tell them that they'll do their best, as Tails tries to tell Gohan to wait here with Kami and to call. Gohan is worried but says that he can't do that. Piccolo and Knuckles have been training him this whole time, and he can't just leave them when they're in trouble, he's gotta come along too. Tails and Amy say that they'll do the best they can to protect him by themselves, and that this isn't gonna be easy, but they'll do their best. The group fly down to where Gohan and Knuckles were training, and find that there's now a huge lab that wasn't there before. Tails stares at the lab, and for some reason, this looks very familiar to him, but he can't quite place his finger on it. As they're all about to fly in, they are ambushed by the Bio Warriors. One jumps on Yamcha and slams him into the ground, as Tien is able to elbow away to one going after him and slams him around. On top of the Bio Warriors, many badniks fly out as well, with Tails and Amy smashing all of them the best that they can. Gohan stays behind watching as the others fight, and knows that he has to be the one to go in to try and save Piccolo and Knuckles. He's able to avoid all the Bio Warriors and badniks and fly right into the compound, with Tails trying to stop him, but he's too distracted by the badniks. Gohan makes his way into the lab, with a voice over the loudspeakers reaching out to him. The voice says that the kid has a lot of nerve to come in here and try and stop the rise of Dr. Wheelo, and that if Goku and Sonic couldn't stop even Eggman, then what's Goku's little kid gonna do? Gohan yells out at the intercom that he's the son of the great Son Goku, and he's not going to go down that easily. Eggman laughs over the intercom now, and says that if that's so, then let's see how he fares against his first Bio Warrior, Miso Katsune. Miso Katsune appears in front of Gohan, with Gohan intimidated by the warrior's size, but powers up ready to take him on. Gohan and the Bio Warrior battle, with Gohan dancing all around him and doing his best to land as many hits as he can. Unfortunately, it seems that none of the hits he's landing are effective. It's almost as if this monster is made out of rubber, and the attacks aren't working at all. Gohan is quickly overwhelmed by the monster, and slammed into the ground. Gohan struggles to stand, and even fires off a Masenko at the beast to take him down. However, this attack just bounces off of him as well. Gohan stares in fear, wondering what he's going to do now, until Knuckles blasts out of the ground and uppercuts Miso Katsune away. Gohan yells out in happiness and rushes over to hug Knuckles, saying he's happy he's okay. Knuckles pats Gohan's head, saying that he just got knocked out in the explosion earlier, and the others told him he ran in here headfirst to save Piccolo. He's a super brave kid, but to let him take it from here. Miso Katsune lands back in front of Knuckles and swings around at him, but Knuckles is way too quick and spin dashes all around the Bio Warrior. Knuckles' hits leave more marks than Gohan's, but not enough to fully take him down. Knuckles is getting kinda agitated and decides to finish this off quickly. He glides right into Miso Katsune's stomach, going farther and farther through, with him not being able to pierce it quite yet. Not until he begins to spin and spin, twisting the stomach enough where he barrels right out of the other side. Miso Katsune screams out in pain as he begins to deflate and floats down dead on the ground. Knuckles lands back on the ground, saying that was way too easy. Eggman lets his anger get the best of him. He thought that he took out the Echidna before, and he's going to make sure he gets rid of him for good this time. Kochin sends in the next two Bio Warriors to even the odds, Ebifuria and Kishime. Ebifuria sends out his ice beam towards Knuckles, which hits him dead on and begins to freeze him in place. Knuckles didn't expect that, and tries to get up out of it, but the ice is trapping him. Gohan screams out for the Bio Warrior to stop and rushes in to attack, but Kishime lashes out his electric whips and pretty much fries Gohan in place. Gohan screams out as he is electrocuted and falls to the ground unconscious. With Gohan knocked out, this makes Knuckles just a little unhappy. He explodes in a green glow, shattering the ice all around them as he powers up into Chaos Knuckles. The sheer energy of Chaos Knuckles blows the Bio Warriors back, with Knuckles growling at them that they've really messed up now. He teleports behind Ebifuria and with a simple Chaos Beam destroys him completely. Kishime lashes out his electric whips once more at Knuckles, but he just catches them in his hand, with them not affecting him at all. Knuckles then tugs at the whips to pull Kishime closer, with Kishime flying right towards Knuckles, and he swings at his head, knocking it clean off of his body. With these two defeated, Knuckles goes over to Gohan and gives him some of his power to wake him up. Gohan comes to, with Knuckles relieved that he's okay. He tells Gohan that they need to keep moving to save Piccolo, and he can sense that they're almost there. He takes Gohan's hand and Chaos Controls into the main room where Eggman and Kochin are. Eggman glares at Knuckles, saying that he thought he took care of him already. Knuckles puts Gohan down and powers up, saying he's done with Eggman always getting in their way. Where is Piccolo? Kochin laughs, saying that he's right here with them. Knuckles has no idea what they're talking about, when suddenly he is bombarded with energy blasts. Knuckles is able to fly out of the way of them, and he looks on to see what looks like the Chaos clones that King Piccolo spawned years back. What is this? A booming voice from behind Eggman and Cochin speaks up, saying that he's been able to harness the energy of King Piccolo, and he's going to use his body to become the world's strongest. Knuckles quickly flies around and takes out the Chaos clones, and then looks up to the giant brain thing in the wall, wondering what the hell that thing is. He's going to take Piccolo's body? He doesn't think so. He prepares an attack to launch at the giant head, but it is deflected away right back at Knuckles. Knuckles chaos controls out of the way and looks back to see what deflected the attack back at him. He stares in horror as he sees Chaos rise up in front of the giant brain behind the two doctors. He screams out, demanding to know what they did to Piccolo. The giant brain states that he just used an ancient chant of Knuckles' people that he discovered during his travels, and was able to use the power of chaos to revert Piccolo back to his demonic roots, and into a being of pure chaos. Knuckles can't believe it. Last time Piccolo reverted back to the being of chaos, he was lost forever and just reborn. Does this mean that his Piccolo is gone forever now too? He explodes in a rage, saying that they're going to pay for this, and he rushes to doctors. Chaos stands in his way, launching out a water tendril to wrap around Knuckles' leg, and he slams him into the ground. Knuckles quickly severs the tendril with his fist and tells Chaos he's not here for him, he's here for Eggman. Knuckles chaos controls behind Chaos and slams his fist between his head, making Chaos drowsy as he rushes towards Eggman and punches a hole right through his chest. Cochin backs off in fear, as Knuckles wonders why Eggman's chest feels mechanical. Eggman laughs as he says he wasn't stupid enough to actually come here in person. Eggman begins to shake as the prosthetics disappear, revealing the robo-mechanical Eggman underneath. He's just speaking through this machine from elsewhere. Knuckles glares daggers as he goes to land another blow, with Cochin shooting at his head. The bullets, of course, bounce right off of Knuckles, with him turning to Cochin saying that he's really here though, isn't he? Cochin gulps as Knuckles launches a Chaos Beam right at Cochin, completely disintegrating him. Eggman laughs, saying he was just a means to an end anyway. The only doctor he wanted to see was Dr. Wheelo over there. Knuckles turns to the giant brain in the wall once more. Dr. Wheelo, he's the one who did this to Piccolo. He goes to fire another beam at him, with Chaos intercepting him and wrapping around his head, attempting to drown him. Knuckles powers up to get him off, with Knuckles trying to punch a creature away, saying he needs to stop. He's Piccolo! Chaos isn't listening, however, and begins his assault on Knuckles even more. Dr. Wheelo laughs from the wall, saying that nothing he can say will bring his dear Piccolo back. Even without his magnificent brain in that body yet, Chaos is still one of the most dangerous beings on the planet. This Echidna stands no chance. Knuckles continues to battle Chaos, trying to use his own abilities with the Chaos Force to bring Piccolo back, but nothing's working. Unlike Knuckles too, who is getting more worn down, Chaos' stamina isn't going down whatsoever, due to him just being a being of pure chaos and water. Knuckles has no idea what he's going to do now, when Gohan jumps right in front of the two. Gohan yells at the Chaos to cut it out. He knows who he is. He's his Uncle Piccolo. He's not really a bad guy. He can stop this right now and come back to them. Knuckles yells out for Gohan to back away from him, as he is suddenly hit from behind by an energy beam. Knuckles screams out as he reverts back to normal and falls to the ground. Eggman laughs as his arm has transformed into a mini Chaos Siphon, sucking up the rest of Knuckles' Chaos form. Chaos rushes Gohan, with Gohan being backhanded across the room. Gohan flies into a nearby wall, with Chaos pouncing right on top of him. Chaos lays into Gohan, punching him constantly while he's down, with Knuckles struggling to stand to try and help him. But Eggman zaps him again with the Chaos Siphon to keep him down. Gohan is bloody and crying, with Chaos about to deliver the final blow. Chaos swings his fist towards the boy's head, with Gohan catching it. The catch sends ripples throughout Chaos' entire body, with Gohan's pupils disappearing, and him screaming, "Enough!" Gohan explodes in power, blowing Chaos back and shocking everybody. Gohan rushes towards Chaos and slams him into the ground. He grabs the sides of his head and screams out, "Chaos Control!" with the massive amount of energy Gohan has flowing all into Chaos. Chaos begins to violently shake once more, with him changing. Chaos begins to grow, with his features morphing back into that of Piccolo. Eggman and Willow yell out, with Eggman launching his Chaos Siphon at the boy, with Gohan catching the beam directly, absorbing it, and it doing no damage whatsoever. Eggman backs away in fear as Gohan fires a Masenko right at Eggman, with the beam completely destroying him. With the Masenko fired, Gohan collapses to the ground, having used up all of his energy. Dr. Willow looks on in shock. This boy, what kind of boy is this? He just displayed powers he's never seen before. He used Chaos Control without any form of emeralds around him. How is that possible? This boy, perhaps he is the world's strongest. He needs his body. However, both Cochin and Eggman are gone, so this is something he's going to have to do himself. The building begins shaking as Willow struggles to break free. Rocks fly out everywhere as Willow emerges from his prison in his exoskeleton armor. Willow stomps over to Gohan, kicking the unconscious Piccolo and Knuckles out of the way to get to the boy. As he reaches down to grab him, he is blasted at from behind. He turns to see who fired, as Krillin lands a kick right to the side of his body. Willow is bombarded by Krillin, Yamcha, and Tien, as Tails fires down and picks Gohan up, getting him away from Willow. Willow watches as Gohan is taken from him, and yells that that's enough. He explodes in power, pushing all three away from them by sheer pressure alone. He grabs Krillin and Yamcha, slamming them right into each other, as he throws them at Tien. Tien catches them and dodges Willow's strikes. He puts the two on the ground and flies up into the air, launching a tri-beam right at the Doctor. Willow, however, opens a flap under his brain and launches his own beam out to counter. The two have an immense beam struggle, with Willow's overpowering Tien and blasting him right to the ground alongside Krillin and Yamcha. Willow rushes towards Tails and Gohan, with Amy slamming at his brain with her hammer. Willow yells out for these insects to get away from him, as he goes to slash at her as well. Amy deflects his blows with her hammer, though can't deflect all of them. She goes flying past Tails into the wall, unconscious as well. Willow continues his march towards Tails, as Krillin and Yamcha get up and fire a dual Kamehameha to hit Willow right in the back. Even though the Kamehameha is great, the beam is nothing to Willow, and he simply turns around and hits the beam back at the two, with them being able to narrowly dodge it, but are blown back towards the wall, knocked unconscious. Willow flies up out of the compound and flies directly at Tails. Tails knows he can't run any longer, and throws Gohan up in the air as he uses his tails to block Willow's strike. He blasts at Willow with his arm cannon, with Willow rushing through all of the strikes and slamming Tails over the head, sending him right into the ice below, knocked right out. Gohan floats back down, with Willow capturing him and laughing maniacally. He now finally has his body. Suddenly though, Gohan disappears in a green flash of light, with Willow screaming, wondering what just happened. Gohan was chaos controlled back to Angel Island by Kami, who used a Master Emerald to get Gohan out of there. Willow goes to fly back to his lab to see if Knuckles had anything to do with this, with Dekal appearing in front of him and using her own chaos control to stop him in his tracks. She says she doesn't think so, and yells out for Kami to do it now. Kami grabs the Master Emerald once more and begins his chaos chant, with the Master Emerald glowing bright and launching 2 beams of energy down to the earth. The 2 beams crash land onto both Knuckles and Piccolo, empowering the 2 of them. The 2 explode, instantly ascending into their chaos forms. Willow breaks free of Tikal's hold and swings right at her, with Knuckles catching the blow. Tikal says that it worked, with Knuckles smiling at her and thanking his ancestor, telling her they got it from here. Willow struggles to break free from Knuckles' grasp, with Knuckles telling him he's done. He's not taking anybody's body today. He raises his other arm and lands a devastating blow to Willow, sending him flying towards the ground. Piccolo and Knuckles revert back to normal, with Knuckles saying he's happy that Piccolo managed to be freed from Willow's control. Though, how did he break free? Piccolo says he's not really sure. Last thing he remembers is being taken over and then reawakened by the Master Emerald. So that must be what freed him. The two think that's the most logical explanation and head off to grab the others and return to Angel Island. Once everybody is all healed up, Kami tells them that they all did a good job in protecting the world once again. However, they still have a lot to learn. As if it wasn't for his and Tikal's intervention, then Willow would have taken Gohan's body, and who knows what would have happened then. So, from here, they're really going to up their training to make sure that those Saiyans stand no chance. The Chaos Sea Fighters give the gods a thumbs up and get ready to resume their training. Knuckles and Piccolo take Gohan off once more to train him, and feel that there's something different about the boy now. He has some kind of power within him, doesn't he? Something very latent. Something of chaos. Knuckles looks over to Piccolo, seeing if he can sense it too, with Piccolo smiling and nodding in confirmation. Knuckles looks over to Gohan, hard at work, and smiles, saying he knew that that kid would be the strongest of them all. Back at Eggman's base, he curses to Metal Sonic that even the great genius of Dr. Willow couldn't help him. This incident and the incident with Garlic Jr. are just confirmation that all he needs is his own genius to take over the planet. There is one thing bothering him, however, those Saiyans that they told him about. What is that? More people who are trying to take over the world from him? Huh, he doesn't think so. He already remade Metal Sonic, so why not go above and beyond? Making another Metal Goku should definitely show those Saiyans whose world this really is. Over the course of this year, the Chaos Sea Fighters have gotten a lot more powerful, especially since they don't have the Chaos Emerald to rely on anymore. There is no way to find them, as even Shenron couldn't, so they just have to hope that they'll turn up one day for the group to use again. Now we're gonna head into the group on Earth's power levels. I'm not gonna dive too much into it like I did back in part 6, as finding everybody's power levels just isn't fun for me, since it's a lot of guesswork, and no matter what, I'm gonna get people mad with them, and if I don't do them, I'm gonna get a bunch of comments asking where they are. So yeah, again, please don't get mad, these are all guesswork. So, from weakest to strongest, we have Tails at 2,800, Amy at 2,850, Yamcha at 2,900, Krillin at 2,920, Tien at 2,930, Gohan at 3,000, Knuckles at 4,500, and Piccolo at 5,000. And real quick to clear up some misconceptions, I saw some people last part asking like why did Raditz put up a challenge because of how strong Chaos Piccolo was, but again, I just want to reiterate that they used the Chaos Emeralds last time to go super, so that's why they're able to get insane powers, but here they don't have the Chaos Emeralds anymore and have to rely on their own power, so that's why the Saiyans are actually a threat here, because they don't have the Chaos Emeralds to go super. And I mean, I thought that was pretty obvious, but I did get quite a few comments being like, oh, that doesn't make any sense, so I just wanted to clear that up here. But anyways, back to the story. Everybody has definitely gotten very powerful, though not as powerful as Knuckles and Piccolo are. These two still have their own Chaos forms they use, and while Knuckles' multiplier of 45 times is the same, Piccolo's own power is pretty different. For starters, it's a transformation for him, as with the King Piccolo, it was just his new base form. Since Kami wanted to prevent Piccolo from becoming the perfect Chaos again, he made sure to have Piccolo use the power of Chaos sparingly, so that way he doesn't go on a gigantic rampage. The multiplier he is now is the same as Knuckles when he transforms, 45 times. So without using all that power, he won't become perfect Chaos and flood the world this time. Chaos Knuckles' power now is 202,500, with Chaos Piccolo being 225,000. Which are some giant increases in their power. So yeah, everybody is much stronger here on Earth. And up on King Kai's planet, Goku and Sonic have gotten very strong as well, since they've basically had a whole year of training. They're a lot stronger than what Goku would have been in canon. And they've had a lot of extra time to learn the techniques they've been taught. Since it's almost time for them to go, they decided to have a sparring match between the two of them to really hone in their newfound powers. King Kai is the one who suggested it, but he tells them to kinda go easy since he doesn't want them destroying his planet. The two promise he'll go easy on the planet, but not so much on each other, and power up, ready to brawl. As the two brawl in the other world, the danger they've been waiting for arrives on the planet. The two Saiyan space pods crash down in Station Square, with the gun commander immediately notified of their arrival. Hundreds of gun troops arrive surrounding the pods, their guns pointed right at them. The pods open to reveal the two Saiyans, Nappa and Prince Vegeta. The gun soldiers yell at the two to put their hands up and come quietly with them. The two Saiyans laugh, thinking these humans are pretty funny. Nappa flicks his finger and a gigantic explosion erupts, instantly pulverizing the gun soldiers and destroying the entirety of Station Square. The Chaotix were making their way into the city when the explosion went off, and the group got to witness the city's destruction. The Saiyans have been here for 5 minutes and have already destroyed an entire city, killing hundreds if not thousands of people. Vegeta tells Nappa to dial it back next time, as if they destroy the planet, then they'll never get a hand on those Chaos Emeralds that voice told Raditz, and be able to get the ultimate power. Now they need to go and find the highest powers on this planet, and head to them. Through the scouter, Vegeta is able to identify where our heroes are, and finds that they're all grouped together, so it'll be a lot less trouble to track them down. The two fly off past the Chaotix, with the group radioing into the others to warn them of the Saiyans approaching. Tails gets the radio transmission from the Chaotix, so tells them they need to get ready. Everybody gathered at a deserted location after destruction of Station Square. That way, there would be no collateral damage. So now they just have to wait. It doesn't take very long for the two to arrive and greet the others. They ask where Kakarot and that blue furry are that defeated the weakling Raditz, with Piccolo telling them they're not here, but are training to defeat these two and will be underway soon. Vegeta says that's too bad, as he was hoping to find that grade 8 powered Kakarot and show him what real power is. These weaklings in front of them don't deserve to die by their hands, so they'll have them die by a lesser evil. Nappa plants 6 seeds into the ground, with the others wondering what they're doing. This is when the Cybermen grow from the soil, all ready to attack the others. The group are kind of intimidated by these weird plant creatures, but Krillin, Tails, and Amy have stomped a bunch of badniks in their day, so hopefully these guys will be nothing. They step up to the plate first, wanting to deal with them themselves, and while Yamcha tries to tell Krillin to stand down, he says he'll be fine. The three fight with the Cybermen, and while they are very agile and deadly creatures, they're really nothing to them right now. Tails is able to smack them around with his tails, Amy bashes one's head in with a hammer, and with just a few blows from Krillin, his goes down hard. Vegeta and Nappa are impressed with their power display, as these guys are definitely more powerful than Raditz. But power doesn't mean everything. Amy notices that the Cyberman that Tails knocked down is about to pounce right on him, so she lunges towards him and pushes him out of the way. The Cyberman jumps on Amy, and then self-destructs. The others yell out, and rush over to Amy's side to see if she's okay. Amy is down for the count. Alive, but barely. Tails says he's gotta fly her out of here, since if he doesn't, she'll die. The other Cybermen go to attack him to stop him, but Krillin and Yamcha fire Kamehamehas directly towards them to blow them to pieces. Tails grabs Amy and flies off. Vegeta says that girl must have been pretty pathetic to be taken down by a Cyberman like that without any wisp powers. Let's see if everybody else will go down just as easy with them. Nappa infuses the 3 remaining Cybermen with the other wisp powers, granting
Laser!
2 of them the same as Raditz, Laser and Spike, though the other gets some weird cube power. Krillin, Tien, and Yamcha say that they'll handle these 3 the best that they can, so Piccolo and Knuckles should go after the main threat. The 3 all go for each other, as Knuckles and Piccolo step up to the other 2. Nappa tells Piccolo it's impressive that a Namekian is on this planet, so that may explain how all of these other guys are stronger. A Namekian? Is that what he is? He didn't even realize it. Knuckles didn't either, as Kami and Piccolo seem just like giant slug people, which actually isn't that uncommon on this planet. But they're aliens? That's insane. Nappa tells them that they're nothing to him though, and attacks. Nappa rushes the 2 and tries to deliver a heap of strong strikes, but it's nothing to these guys. They dance around Nappa and hit harder right back at him, barreling him into the dirt. Knuckles burrows beneath the ground and rises back up under Nappa's back to send him flying, with Piccolo nailing him right back to the ground. Vegeta is impressed with their tag team ability, as individually they're as strong or stronger than Nappa, but together they're unbeatable for him. Nappa fumes, ready to run back in and attack, though Vegeta tells him not to be stupid, as the way he is now, he stands no chance. Nappa hates to admit it, but he is outclassed right now. He hasn't used his wisp powers in a long time since he has no need to, but now is that time. Nappa pulls out a yellow vial, crushing it and bursting into the Drill Wisp. Piccolo and Knuckles feel the insane boost in power, and now finally realize what Sonic and Goku were talking about when they said that this power was enormous. Nappa appears in front of Piccolo, drilling a hole right in his stomach. Piccolo yells out in pain as Knuckles goes to uppercut him. Nappa blocks it with his other drill, and goes to drill into Knuckles too. Knuckles then transforms into Chaos Knuckles, blocking the strike and punching Nappa away. Piccolo collapses to the ground and it begins to change colors. His body transforms into pure liquid as the hole is closed in his chest. Piccolo explodes in energy, becoming Chaos Piccolo. Nappa and Vegeta are surprised with this amount of power, as this must be the kind of energy those Chaos Emeralds can grant. This is getting very interesting. Way more interesting than that Grade 8 form that Kakarot showed off. Vegeta says he'll step in this time. He's very curious on the power of Chaos. He whips out his own vial, one that is purple. He crushes it in his hand and explodes in a
Frenzy!
Vegeta barrels into Piccolo, almost like he's trying to eat him. Piccolo is able to stop him with multiple Chaos Blasts, and then begins to punch him away. The two clash, with Vegeta's frenzy being very unpredictable for Piccolo. He can tell that he is still the stronger of the two, but with how frantic this Wisp form is, it's very hard to go against. Chaos Knuckles and Nappa clash with their own forms of drill punches. Knuckles pushes back Nappa, as Nappa goes to escape into the ground and rush up just like Knuckles did to him earlier. This doesn't work out very well for him as he's just kicked away. Enraged, Nappa takes out another Wisp Vial and bursts into a new flame power. Nappa bursts over to Knuckles, exploding in a fiery energy. Knuckles is blown back as Nappa fires multiple fiery beams directly at him. As they are all fighting, the humans are having a terrible time against the Cybermen. The laser Cyberman is barreling into all of them, knocking them away, as the Spike one stabs them all. The problem is that once they find an opening to attack, the Cube Cyberman drops a giant cube in the way, so they hit that instead. With that cube disorienting them, they are open to attacks from the other two. Yamcha fires his spirit ball around to try and catch up with the laser, and actually manages to hit him a few times, almost knocking him out of the form. The Cube Wisp notices this, and decides to take him out of the picture. Cube jumps over Yamcha, and transforms into a gigantic cube, landing directly on top of him, crushing him. Once the cube reverts back to look, Yamcha is crushed, dead. Tien and Krillin scream out no, as they are barreled into by laser. Krillin, in a fit of rage, powers up to his maximum, unleashing a Destructo Disc right at Spike. Spike throws his spikes right at it, hoping to cut it in half. Unfortunately for him, the disc is way more powerful and cuts Spike right in half, killing him. Now, it's a 2v2 match, and it's not looking good for either of them. Krillin is being decimated by the laser, with Tien being just as decimated by Cube. It looks hopeless for them, until Tails returns and catches Laser right between his two tails. He sticks a contraption right on his head and sucks the Wisp energy right out of him and into a capsule. The regular Cyberman falls to the ground depowered, with Tails stomping its head in. Thankfully, Tails tried to find a way to get rid of the Wisp powers after examining Raditz' body, and managed to find a good source. Though, it's not going to be easy going after the cube if he summons his cubes all over the place. He tries to trap them all, but Tails is able to fly them out of harm's way. Tien claims he's not going to be finished yet, and once he sees that he might have a good shot, he unleashes a Tri-Beam right at the cube. The Cyberman transforms into a giant cube, tanking the Tri-Beam. Tien isn't going to give though, beginning to give more and more of his power to destroy the thing. The cube begins to feel its shell cracking, and summons another cube over Tien's head to crush him. Krillin and Tails jump right ahead though, and catch it, holding it in place just long enough for Tien to unleash all that he has, and the Tri-Beam bursts right through the cube, completely destroying it. Krillin and Tails land right next to Tien, telling him good job, but Tien just falls to the ground. They go to check on him and find that he's dead. He used up all of his power in that Tri-Beam to save them, and it cost him his life. The two cry, mourning Tien and Yamcha's deaths, and turn to watch and hope that Piccolo and Knuckles can defeat the other two and stop this madness. Thankfully, Vegeta and Nappa have been on the back foot against the other two, as even with their wild Wisp forms, the Chaos forms are much more powerful. Eventually, the two group back together, and Vegeta is infuriated that even with his powerful Frenzy form, it's not enough to defeat this Namekian. Him, the proud prince of all Saiyans, beaten around by a slug. If he didn't have those Chaos powers, then this would be a breeze. He's not going to let them survive this though. Vegeta activates his other wisp power, the Black Hole Wisp, and begins to suck in the others towards him. Piccolo and Knuckles are pulled into Vegeta, with him unleashing a gigantic burst of void energy to send them flying away. With them sent flying, Vegeta flies straight into the air to search for the moon. Once he flies up, he looks directly at the moon, knowing that a full moon would be there. Though, he is horrified once he sees it. It looks like half of the moon has been destroyed. Who could have done this? With the moon in this state, it'll be impossible for him to become a great ape. Is that why Kakarot had to resort to that new transformation? He didn't account for this at all, and is surprised when Knuckles Chaos controls in front of him and punches him back down to the ground. When Vegeta lands, Piccolo laughs, saying that he guesses it was a blessing that Eggman blew up half the moon when he did. As now, they can't rely on the Great Ape transformation anymore. Vegeta screams out, saying the moon isn't gonna stop him. He forms his spirit ball in his hands, hurling it into the air. The two are confused as to what this is, until Vegeta and Nappa begin to grow in size. They yell out, blasting them with their chaos energy, but the transformation is too great, and the two have now become great apes. Piccolo flies up and punches Vegeta across the face, saying they may have grown in size, but that's nothing to him. Vegeta isn't done yet though, and instantly bursts back into his frenzy. Piccolo is launched away, and when Knuckles goes to help, Nappa transforms into his burst to attack him as well. With all of these powers stacked, the two great apes are a giant force to be reckoned with. Piccolo and Knuckles attack with all that they have, but unfortunately, this power they have is just way too much. The fact that with their chaos forms it's too little is crushing them. Knuckles is getting really tired too, as keeping his chaos form up for too long is making him exhausted. Piccolo tries to get him to keep fighting, but Knuckles apologizes as he's way too tired. He collapses to the ground, back to normal. Nappa smiles, moving towards him as Piccolo rushes to go and save him. Vegeta bites off Piccolo's arm and headbutts him into the ground, as Nappa launches a gigantic fire blast from his mouth directly at Knuckles. Tails and Krillin rush in to go and help, but it's too late. Knuckles is incinerated by the blast, with no trace of him left. Piccolo sits up to see that Knuckles, one of his big brothers, has been killed. He can't handle it. Piccolo's mind snaps as he unleashes all of his chaos energy for the first time in his life. Piccolo grows in size, losing his form and evolving into the being known as Perfect Chaos. Perfect Chaos roars, his tentacles nailing both Vegeta and Nappa in the chest. Vegeta is injured, sure, but Nappa is hurt worse, as the water of Perfect Chaos completely washes away his burst form. Vulnerable, Perfect Chaos wraps up Nappa in his arms and unleashes a blast from his mouth right at his head, vaporizing it. Nappa's headless body collapses to the ground with a huge crash, and then it reverts back to normal size. Nappa is out of the fight. Perfect Chaos and Vegeta then go at it with each other, the two giant beings clashing together, causing massive damage to the area around them. From Angel Island, Kami can tell that his time is nearing its end. With Piccolo as Perfect Chaos once again, the Piccolo they know now is gone. It's hopeless for them, and he apologizes to Mr. Popo and Tikal, saying that he wishes he could have done things differently. Gohan looks at Kami in fear. Mr. Piccolo is gonna die? Chaos and Vegeta are going at it, with the Frenzy power-up taking a lot out of him. Gigantic chunks are ripped from his body faster than he can regenerate them. And no matter how many blasts he fires out of his mouth, Vegeta can shoot them out faster and take them down. Krillin and Tails watch in horror as Vegeta takes a gigantic chunk out of Chaos's brain, causing the monster to roar in absolute agony as it's dying. The creature shakes and loses its form, crashing down to the ground as just a giant puddle. Piccolo has been killed. Kami fades away, thanking the others for being with him in his final moments. The three yell out, with Gohan losing it. He explodes in power and bursts off of the island down below, with neither Popo or Tikal able to stop him. On King Kai's planet, Goku and Sonic land back down, finally finished their match and informing each other that they did a pretty good job. King Kai screams at them once they get down that they need to get their ears checked. He's been yelling at them for a long while now that the Saiyans had landed on Earth. He was trying to get their attention, but no, they just had to fly away after beginning to spar. Goku and Sonic's hearts drop. The Saiyans are on Earth? Is everybody okay? King Kai yells out that they're not gonna be if they don't get down there right now. The two thank King Kai for everything and burst off of the planet at super speed to go and help their friends. On Earth, Vegeta laughs out in triumph, as even with the power of chaos on their side, they were nothing to the might of the Prince of all Saiyans. Not even Kakarot would be able to kill him now. As he stomps towards Krillin and Tails, Gohan rushes right in and headbutts Vegeta right in the chest. Vegeta stumbles back, surprised by the attack. Gohan raises his hands in the air, firing a Chaos Masenko directly at the artificial moon to destroy it. Vegeta yells out no as he begins to shrink back to normal. Vegeta is reverted to his base as Gohan collapses exhausted to the ground. Vegeta, in rage, punches Gohan right in the stomach and throws him at Krillin and Tails. The two are hit by Gohan's body sent flying back. Vegeta says he's been humiliated enough today and won't let some hybrid Saiyan brat get the better of him. He begins to charge a Gallic gun, saying that it's all over. Until he is struck in the back of the head by an electric beam. Hurt, the Gallic gun disappears as he turns around to see what happened.
I'll show you what real evil is! Get a load of this!
E-101 Beta fires a gigantic energy beam at Vegeta, which he dodges by flying into the air. He is then bombarded with multiple badniks swarming all around him. He destroys most of the ones around him, with Gamma and multiple egg robos shooting at him from below. Vegeta rushes towards them, with Gamma flying out of the way and the egg pawns destroyed. Vegeta looks up, asking, "Who the hell is this guy?" Eggman tells him he is the Eggman, and if anybody is going to rule over this planet, it's going to be him. So he had better back off. Vegeta goes to attack Eggman until he is blitzed by a blue blur. He falls to the ground and looks up to see Metal Sonic. Metal Sonic rushes Vegeta, matching him blow for blow. Vegeta is surprised as this one is very different from the other machines. This one is much faster too. So much faster that he can barely keep up. He is also being pelted from behind by Gamma and Beta, so this isn't helping his case against Metal. Vegeta turns to blast away the two robots, and the two aren't able to move out of the way in time. But another robot appears in front of them, knocking the blast back at Vegeta. Metal Goku lands next to Gamma and Beta, rushing in at Vegeta as well. Vegeta can't believe his eyes. Kakarot? Metal Sonic and Metal Goku tag team Vegeta, knocking him around as Eggman laughs. Did this fatso manage to make robot copies of Kakarot and that blue furry? As irritated as he is with these two fighting him right now, he has to admit that it's impressive. Unfortunately though, his talents are going to go to waste. Vegeta activates his Void Wisp and pulls the two robots in. Even with Metal Sonic's speed, he can't resist the pull of a black hole, and is pulled in. With the two close, Vegeta is able to beat on them, and the gravity is preventing them from fighting back. As they are pummeled, Eggman smacks by Vegeta in his new Death Egg robot. Vegeta flies back, saying that this fatso can't survive against him for long. As he rushes to end them, he is nailed in the face by another blue blur. Vegeta falls back, wondering how Metal Sonic can still be that fast while injured, but it's not Metal Sonic. Sonic the Hedgehog speeds back in front of Eggman, saying that he was the last person he expected to see defending the Earth against the Saiyans. Eggman tells Sonic to shut up, as he had no choice. Goku then lands right in front of Vegeta, asking what happened to everybody else here. Kakarot. So they finally meet. If only he hadn't turned out to be such a traitor, then maybe the rest of his friends would still be alive right now. His heart stops. Gohan, Krillin, and Tails are all that's left. He turns to look at the three, who look heartbroken, and it confirms it. Sonic's heart drops as well. No, Yamcha, Tien, Knuckles, Piccolo, Kami, all gone? Goku's rage builds as he transforms into his Akari form in front of Vegeta, saying he'll never forgive him for what he's done. Vegeta says he won't live long enough to get any kind of revenge. Vegeta activates his frenzy power, and the two get ready to launch at each other. Sonic rushes alongside Goku, saying he's not doing this alone. Sonic then activates the new power he got from King Kai by yelling out, Kaioken. Sonic, with the Kaioken, rushes in to fight with Vegeta. The two go at it with him, but Vegeta is a lot more powerful than he expected with his Frenzy Wisp. As they go at it, Vegeta is happy to see that Piccolo and Knuckles were a lot stronger than these guys. They were supposed to be their greatest hope. What jokes. Vegeta ups it with the black hole to pull them in, but thankfully with the Kaioken added on to Sonic, he is fast enough to outrun it and fire multiple Sonic blasts at him. This actually damages Vegeta, so he has to revert back to Frenzy, which gives Goku enough time to attack him with all he has in Akari. Sonic's speed is becoming a great issue, as this Kaioken multiplies his already great speed. He tries to focus on him, but Kakarot keeps distracting him with his own power. He needs a way to get this hedgehog out of the picture. As they all keep fighting, he notices that Tails is cheering on Sonic from behind. This makes him come up with an idea. Vegeta blasts away at the two, and with his black hole power, sucks in Tails towards him. He grabs Tails by the neck, and says that if they want this two-tailed freak to live, they had better back away. The two immediately stop attacking and revert back to normal. Vegeta laughs, saying that was much easier than he thought it would be. These two are so naive. Tails yells out at Sonic to help him, and Vegeta tells him that it's too late for him anyways, and he doubts he'll be seeing Sonic again. Sonic yells at Vegeta to stop and put him down, but it's too late. Vegeta squeezes and crushes Tails' neck, killing him instantly. Vegeta drops him to the ground, laughing, as Sonic is too stunned to speak. He looks at the lifeless body of his best friend, as Krillin and Gohan rush to try and revive him. He was too slow to save him, too weak to save him. He's the reason he's dead. Anger builds inside of Sonic, with his power rising. Vegeta just expected him to break down and sob, but not begin to build energy. A black aura surrounds Sonic as he explodes into a rage, unleashing Dark Sonic. Goku can't believe it. This power, it's similar to that of Super Sonic. Did Sonic finally manage to access the power of Chaos without any emeralds? Dark Sonic appears in front of Vegeta, punching him right in the chest. Vegeta spits out blood and quickly goes into his black hole form to save himself. This won't do much though, as Dark Sonic surrounds Vegeta, beating him senselessly with his new form. Vegeta is beaten down extremely by this power. No matter what wisp form he uses, Black Hole or Frenzy, it's nothing to the power from Dark Sonic. Dark Sonic Chaos controls all around Vegeta, firing Dark Chaos beams around to knock him around some more. No matter what Vegeta does, he can't counter the raw speed and power of Dark Sonic. Vegeta reverts back into his normal form, with Dark Sonic standing over him and striking him savagely. Vegeta coughs blood as he is torn into by the furious Dark Hedgehog. Is this the end for him? Eggman then appears behind Sonic, saying he's never seen him this angry before. Dark Sonic turns to glare at Eggman, with Eggman saying that he's disappointed that he let his temper get out of control, and that he's stooping down to Vegeta's level. Dark Sonic looks at Vegeta, and then over to the dead body of Tails. He finally begins to get his mind straight, and stands up off Vegeta. He reverts back to normal, and turns to Eggman saying he's right. Vegeta summons his space pod, attempting to escape, but Goku grabs him, stopping him. He says that they may not kill him, but they're definitely not letting him get away. They have some more questions for him, and he's got a lot to answer for. Goku hits Vegeta on the back of the neck, knocking him right out. Eggman says that any jail that Gun or King Acorn has won't be able to hold him, so he'll take the Saiyan back to his egg carrier, where they can interrogate him there. Eggman summons the egg carrier down, with him, Metal Sonic, Metal Goku, and Gamma and Beta heading inside. Sonic collapses in front of Tails' body, sobbing, with Goku, Krillin, and Gohan coming over to comfort him. As they all cry over all the death that has happened today, Krillin says that they may not all be gone forever. The others ask him what he means, as with Piccolo dead, Kami's dead too, so the Dragon Balls are gone forever. Krillin tells them that the Dragon Balls on Earth are gone, but Vegeta said that Piccolo is something called a Namekian. If a Namekian here can make Dragon Balls, then there's a chance that a Namekian up there can make them too. They might have a chance to bring everybody back.